Hey guys, Chituf Headings here to talk about phone anamorphics. I've been trying to put this video together for more than a year when Kapkur sent me a lens to test out, and I recently got some serious encouragement from Roddy Negron at Sirui USA and Sean Connolly at MoondogLabs, who sent me lenses for testing. Sirui USA is giving away a handful of their VD-01s, and the rules to try and get one are in the video description. I'm also giving away some of the lenses used here, so keep reading the description for more info on that too. I'm going to talk a little bit of history and additional gear, then jump into a comparison between lenses from Kapkur, Ulanzi, Moment, MoondogLabs, and Sirui. If you want to skip the whole first part into the shootout, go to the time on the screen. In recent times, I noticed an increasing number of these lenses on eBay. Not just used ones, but completely new brands with prices ranging from 30 bucks all the way past 150. Where did they come from? And why now? Anamorphics for phones first came to life in the end of 2013 through a small Kickstarter campaign by MoondogLabs. Their product was so different, there weren't even apps for de-squeezing the image on your phone at that time. Tangerine was an interesting movie shot with these lenses. In 2018, Moment kicks their campaign online. They get funded in 40 minutes, reaching whopping $1.6 million, and sell almost 10,000 phone anamorphics. My theory is that the $1.6 million Moment got in funding is the kind of money that motivates a market. Other companies realized there was money to be made from anamorphic lenses for phones, and that is what expanded our options. The vast majority of these are 1.33 squeeze with some very recent expansions into 1.55 by Beast Grip and 1.15 by Ulanzi. Having options is great, but the inconsistent mounting methods are killing me. While many of these are offered in 37mm or bayonet mounts that fit your phone case, some brands insist on proprietary mounts, and I would love to know why. For beginners considering phone anamorphics as an entryway to shooting scope, these lack oval bokeh and many of the visual traits of anamorphics. You'll get flares and a wider aspect ratio, maybe some barrel distortion, but that's about it. A basic 1.33 lens design has a simple formula. 2 lens cylinders that squeeze the image and no focus adjustment. It fails hardcore at close focus and fast apertures. Since our phones have very tiny sensors, the issue with fast apertures doesn't come to play. Only close focus still fails. Since all these lens makers are using the same anamorphic design, the different results come from different coatings. Coatings will determine line transmission, overall tone, warmer or colder, contrast, flares, and fine resolution. During my research for making this video, I had a really hard time controlling my phone camera until I started using the Filmic Pro app. Filmic Pro gives you everything you have on a regular camera. Plus, it de-squeezes the footage on the fly. It also provides you with zebras, focus peaking, and it has great integration with gimbals and other gear. It sells for $12.99. Then, throw on a variable ND for some more light control. Make sure your lens can take filters. Since not all brands make filter holders, I made filter holders for the lenses that didn't have any. The process is the same I used to make the Moment filter holder. To be safe, I carry around a diopter kit too, although I barely use it. Last, I got a gimbal stabilizer, the Zhiyun Smooth 4, for a little over 100 bucks. Our phones are crazy sensitive to movement, and that translates into the footage as shakiness. My phone is a Google Pixel 2 and I'm using a Moment case which features a bayonet mount, and I had to modify the Kapkur lens from its original bayonet into a standard bio. The Sirui, Moondog, and Moment lenses are all bio, and Ulanzi comes in 37 millimeters. So I'm using a clip to secure it to the phone and removing the case entirely. I'm shooting everything in 4K and just squeezing through Filmic, which saves me a ton of time. The final resolution of the files is 3840 by 1620 pixels. I'm trying as best as I can to keep shutter at 180 degrees and exposed to the right, ETTR, since this tiny sensor noise is awful. Here's a quick video using all of these lenses. In this scenario, it's hard to tell the difference, to know when the lens was changed. So let's pixel peep and compare the results of identical shots. Looking at center sharpness, all lenses perform well compared to the default camera picture. We can see a bit more of focus fall off on Kapkur's image. When we look at the corners, the default camera has almost no change, but this is where the lenses start to downgrade. Kapkur is by far the blurriest one, followed by Moment, then Ulanzi, then MoondogLabs, and the sharpest performer is Sirui. You can also notice they all introduce slight fall off of about a full stop. The Kapkur isn't doing too hot, so I took a closer look and noticed the rear element had swung inwards. I haven't figured out if there's a way to reset its position, but this lens has seen some serious abuse, which would explain the problem. Since I was shooting all of these tests, I decided to also check the lens's squeeze factor. Is it really 1.33 times? And it turns out most of them aren't. Moment is 1.33, and so is MoondogLabs, but Kapkur and Sirui are both 1.28 times, and Ulanzi, which seemed crazy wide, indeed compresses by 1.44 times. Then I tried undistorting them all to see how much warping we're getting into the shots. Moment, MoondogLabs, and Sirui are fairly controlled and even, while Kapkur and Ulanzi do really heavy distorting. Moving on to flares, I think this is where most people will make their choices. The coatings come to play. Kapkur is really muted with one warm line there. Moment has two long blue streaks that follow the light source pretty closely. MoondogLabs has more subdued flares, less saturated and veering towards purple instead of blue. Sirui has the most flares. They're everywhere. This can be a good or a bad thing. Ulanzi has longer streaks and a little less than Sirui, but definitely the brightest flares in the pack. Time to break them with close focus. Here's an attempt at minimum focus. Notice how we finally start to see some bokeh in the background? Do you also notice how it stretches the wrong way? That's a consequence of fixed focus and having the taking lens, the phone, and the anamorphic focused at very different distances. Now that we're done with performance, let's talk about the mechanics of each lens. In terms of construction, these are all quite similar in terms of size and weight. The square format seems to be more popular, making the lenses more compact. The Kapkur is visibly bigger than the rest of them, and so far it's the only one that sort of fell apart. Which turned out to be a good thing since it allowed me to remount it as a standard bio. When it comes to filter threads, none of them offer them natively. Moment sells a filter holder for 30 bucks that is held in place by pressure. Ulanzi sells theirs for $5 and it uses a screw to lock down. MoondogLabs sells for $35 and it features a locking clamp. Kapkur and Sirui don't make filter holders, so you gotta make your own. Mine are locked through a super tight fit. All lenses come with front and rear caps, but none of the caps support filter holders, as in, if you want to store the lens with the filter holder attached, figure out your own caps. Moment and Ulanzi give you little pouches that can hold the lens with the filter holder, and that's good enough for me. For the rest of the lenses, I figured a safe enough way to transport or took out the filter holder and used the original lens caps. Alignment is a hard thing. Here, by far my favorite lens is the Sirui. It has a tiny button that allows you to quickly rotate between vertical and horizontal alignment, and since the lens comes in bayonet mount, there's no need for any adjustments in between these two orientations. Moment has a tiny screw that locks its orientation, so if you want to switch from horizontal to vertical, all you do is loosen the screw and adjust. MoondogLabs and Ulanzi have this ring on the back that offers some resistance but allows you to spin them to any angle. While I appreciate the ability to do so, it mainly makes me worried that I don't have the lens perfectly aligned when mounted. Kapkur's bayonet mount is hardcore locked, so no adjustments there. The original mount could be rotated 90 degrees and I think I ended up pushing it too hard too many times and that ended up breaking it. After looking at all this, it's hard to objectively choose one of them over the other. They are all similarly priced. Ulanzi is the cheapest at 80 bucks versus 150 to 175 for the others. They perform similarly and have similar constructions. I'd highlight Sirui's alignment mechanism as a great victory over its competitors. Kapkur's original mounting method is only good if you're using their case, which fits only specific phones, and Ulanzi's only mounts to 37mm threads, which are not featured in compact cases, and I truly dislike the clip that I use to hold it in place. Have you ever tried any phone anamorphics? Do you carry yours around? I certainly want to get used to shoot more with my phone. The footage came out much nicer than I expected. Now, some more good stuff. I'm giving away some of these lenses as a part of my new memberships here on YouTube. More info on that in the description of the video. For the first one, the Sirui, sharing this video and leaving a comment here makes you eligible for winning. Comments will be accepted until next Saturday, and keep an eye on my community posts for the winner. Besides that, Sirui USA will be giving out one of these VD-01s per week for the next 3 weeks. All you have to do is subscribe to the Sirui YouTube channel and comment on the VD-01 video. Participants must be USA residents only, and only one winner per household. The winner will be contacted each week by Sirui. I hope you enjoyed this episode and that you got a different perspective about shooting with your phones. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time to do so. I'm Chito Verhedings, and I'll see you next time.